celebrations.
So let's talk a little bit about it. Pittsburgh
Steelers.
Steelers, New England Patriots. Look, on paper, 3 years ago, this would have been a hell of a game, right? Like, this is what you would have wanted to see.
Yeah.
Now, I guess, somewhere it got televised, but the reality is probably shouldn't have been.
It's messed up, though.
Could have probably aired old episodes of Captain Kangaroo or something instead and gotten better ratings. But let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit, right? This game just doesn't have the cachet that it once did. But I mean, again, these are still two great franchises, both going through kind of separate, somewhat rebuilds and uncertainty at quarterback, among other positions. An ugly game. Yeah. But take us through it.
Yeah, well, Steelers are known for ugly games. The past 2 years, every game has been an ugly game. So let's be fair there. So, of course, yes. Steelers lose 17-14. And it was really, I mean, it's hard to put this on the defense, but there really was just some lapses with the defense and special teams. So, Nelson Aguilar, I don't know if you all caught the catch. I mean, it's just, it's on. You can't do that at the end of you can't do that at the end of the half. You got to high point that ball. DB did not do that and let him just. I mean, he mossed him. I just can't wait
very much
till Sunday and we can hear you got mossed, and that's going to be exactly what it is. Aguilar goes right over top. And then, if that's not bad enough, then the Steelers literally drop an interception that was thrown. Mac Jones throws right to them. And, I mean, this is why they're DBs. We love to make that joke. This is why they're DBs. But, there's just no excuse. It's right there. You've got to catch it. And then that same drive, they punt to Gunnar Olszewski, former Patriot. I don't want to
who talked going into this game. Did you? I don't know if you saw that. Did you see the talk from Gunnar Olszewski going into this game, saying that he wanted to prove a point to the Patriots for ever having let him go? And he just goes out and just muffs the punt, drops that thing, turns the ball over against your former team. I mean, you're losing sleep that night after that play.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's the game.
Did somebody check
there.
his bank account?
Yeah. They don't put anything
did somebody, you know what I mean? Maybe he has an offshore account that just so happened to get deposited a certain amount of cash.
So maybe they deflate footballs and they inflate bank accounts. Is that the idea?
Boom.
Oh, it's so funny. Here's what I know is TJ Watt should get Defensive Player of the Year votes regardless how many games he plays. They turned around. It was the Bengals. Let's be fair, 7 sacks against the Bengals, and they gave up 0. They did not get a single sack against the Patriots the first game with TJ out, and that's just
it's a difference.
That's just it's hard.
This is Mac Jones. This is not a mobile quarterback. We're talking about Mac Jones. This is a statue back there. You've got to be able to get to him and pressure him. He's a young quarterback. Now's the time to rattle him, get in his face. He doesn't have rock star receivers. Yeah. And Pittsburgh traditionally would have been doing that, and they could not make it happen. I mean, credit to the Patriots as well for finding out a way to secure their protections. But that was surprising.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to me how one defensive player can make that big of a difference. But we saw it last year when TJ was out a couple of games. He just makes that big of a difference. So unbelievable. So here's what I really want to talk about. I'm done. I'm through. I'm over the Mitchell Trubisky experience. It wasn't anything that this dude did.
2 games in.
It was what?
2 games in. Throw in the towel.
And here's what it was. Here's what it was. And it was one play that I said, this guy doesn't have it. It was a 3rd and 8. You're down. This dude had it was a perfect pocket. You could move, you could do whatever you need to do. He decides he's going to check it down to his running back at the line of scrimmage, literally gets his running back catches it, but literally gets his running back just straight up blown up at the line of scrimmage for no gain. It was like, are you seeing ghosts or what is happening? Mitchell Trubisky will be a phenomenal backup quarterback for 10, 12, 13, 14 years, as long as he wants to be. Because here's what a backup quarterback does. A backup quarterback doesn't lose you a game. A backup quarterback doesn't make turnovers all the time. A backup quarterback is just in there to be seen, not heard, for the 2 to 3 games that your starter is out. There's no instinct there. There's no, like, drive. Let me move outside of the pocket. Let me make something. You have to make something happen. You are down. You've scored at that point 7 points, 8 points, whatever. I don't even know, 10 points. Like, you're down at that point. You have to make something happen. And he decides to take his 4th check down. I mean, great. He went through all of his receivers. Maybe they're not open. Dude, move out of the pocket. Move. Yeah. Do something. Yeah. Instead, he decides he's going to check it down. I'm done. And I don't know if y'all saw the game. The fans were just chanting, pick it, pick it, pick it. I mean, see, that's got to wear on you.
See, and I was about to ask if it's Chris Oladukin time, the QB you picked up from South Dakota State.
Well, so I think
did you really? Because I didn't know. 7th round pick there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking it's Chris time. I didn't know it was Kenny Pickett time. Because if that's
figure he's in the master, then, he's in the master plan. He's in the master plan somewhere for sure. You got to know.
Nobody was chanting Mason, Mason. They were just they were like, never mind, never mind.
Yeah.
Listen, Jeff, we've had plenty. Well, all of us, you too, Tad. We've had plenty of conversations as far as the Pittsburgh Steelers are concerned. As far as what you guys do draft day when you pick up wide receivers and running backs, just go down the line of past years. You guys have and always will, for some unknown reason, pick up
no idea
great players. I don't know how you do it. I mean, kudos to your scout teams that are out there digging into these kids, trying to find them. Because I mean, go down the list of past receivers; they've all been studs. Your running backs have been studs. Harris is going to be a good one. Pickens, I love Pickens, dude. I love that kid. I think he has a bright future. The fact that you guys have weapons right now, I'm sorry, but if you're gonna go through growing pains, everybody needs to go through them. Maybe it is time to move on. Maybe put Pickett in there. I mean, just see what happens. I mean, what do you have to lose? The team will grow together. The receivers will get used to the quarterback. I think it's worth taking that. I don't know, boys. How do you feel?
Yep.
Well, look, I'll jump in for a moment here because, you know, from my perspective looking at this, I think it's interesting. I mean, it feels early. It feels early to pull the plug on it, even though I understand the results haven't been there, right? But the problem is once you go to Kenny Pickett, you can't go back. And if it turns out that he just needs more time,
exactly right.
then they don't have an option. So I think they're going to wait as long as they can. And I also think realistically, the Steelers did not come into this season with crazy high expectations. So I think you probably look at where you are by, game 6 maybe. And you make a decision from there. It would be my guess, right? I'm not saying that's what they'll do. I mean, trust me. I'll tell you exactly what I was traveling, only got a chance to see some highlights, but the whole time, the highlights that I saw and the bits of Trubisky that I've seen, the same thought goes through my head every single time I watch the guy play.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Every single time, right? Like, that's what I think when I'm watching this guy. I'm like, you're not that guy, man. Like, you are not that guy. Like, the guy has a skill set, but I don't think his skill set is well suited for what the Steelers need him to do with the receiving core that they have. This guy does not have the strongest arm. He's mobile, but I think they got to give Pickett a little bit more time to learn. I'm guessing that the coaching staff feels the same way because they haven't made a move yet. It is just 2 games in. And also, look, there's going to be pressure. There already is on offensive coordinator Matt Canada.
Already.
That's definitely – there's pressure. That pressure's there. It was there last year, and it's staying there, now this year. So that's going to be interesting as well. So obviously, I give the last word to you. I defer to you, Jeff, as you are the resident Steelers fan. But those are my thoughts on the topic.
Matt Canada has done an amazing job of fooling everybody. Last year it was, I can't run my offense because of Big Ben. Sure, you can't run a run-pass option with a 38-year-old quarterback. Sure. This year, it's much of the same. I'm going to look off screen here because I gotta get these quotes correct. But to me, Canada has to already be on the hot seat. As much as I think Trubisky is a career backup and a phenomenal career backup, I hope he stays in Pittsburgh and backs up Kenny Pickett. I think we see Pickett, if he struggles the first half of Thursday night's game against Cleveland, I think we're going to see Pickett. Now, if we see Pickett, we see him the rest of the year. So this is a do or die situation.
Yeah.
And you're right. The Steelers probably understood where they were, but guys, they have a top 7 defense. This year, you can't waste that. You can't waste that with an offense.
True.
With all of those weapons. You're talking Chase Claypool. You're talking Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth. You're talking Najee Harris. That is an offense that is built for big plays, awesomeness. They should be scoring, 20, 21, 27, 28 points a game, whatever. Here's what they've already started saying. This is you're right. This is only 2 games in, but here's already the quotes. Chase Claypool. We have to call the right plays to get down the field in the right ways. Deontay Johnson, Deontay Johnson is the quietest dude. I've told you guys, this guy to me is Antonio Brown light. The way he runs his routes, gets in and out of his routes. I've never seen anyone do that outside of Antonio Brown. And he keeps his mouth shut. Here's what Deontay says. We can only do what they tell us to do and execute it.
Oh, you never want to hear that. Never want to hear that.
Here's Mitch. Here's Mitch Trubisky, which again, Mitch is to blame for. I'd give him at least 50% of it. They ask him, Mitch, why are there no throws over the middle? And he says, call concepts to get receivers there. Oh my gosh. This is after 2 weeks, guys. Pat Freiermuth.
This is a mutiny.
We just got to do stuff that we're comfortable. Yeah, Pat Freiermuth. We just got to do stuff that we're comfortable with and do stuff that we do more consistently in practice. I think we're good at certain things, and I think we need to get to those faster. Though this is an indictment. Wow. This is a mutiny week 2. Week 2. They're averaging 14 points a game. This is you got Canada is not going to be long if this keeps up. I can promise you that. 2 offensive touchdowns in 2 games.
So you said that Trubisky takes half of the blame of what's happening out there because he's the QB and he's the guy throwing it around, right? So then if they do make a change, doubtful that they'll make a change at a coordinator position this early in the season.
No.
But is it Canada not doing his job or not believing that Trubisky can handle what it is that he's calling down from the booth?
Fair question.
There you go.
Fair question.
Fair question. Because
So then-
in preseason,
What do you do?
they look like a juggernaut offensively. In preseason, I mean, that first game, they just came out blazing on with anyone that was in there, Mason included. I mean, and I don't know. I don't know if it's more of like, hey, let's go conservative. We have a great defense. Let's just not turn the ball over. But it's just not going to win you games in this NFL. Like, that's just not something you can do. Like, I don't know. Canada has fooled a lot of people since his time as a Pitt offensive coordinator. So I just don't think he's long for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Tomlin's not going to make a call like that. He's not going to admit a mistake like that, and he's going to ride him out. So, we're just going to have to live with it. But I say we see Pickett probably I would say week 6 at the very latest, and I would say as early as Thursday night, we're going to see Pickett.
Wow.
Ride or die.
Well, look, we normally save this for players here on the show, and of course, obviously, everybody out there listening to You Get the Horn show here. That we normally save this for players, but I think it seems very suitable to say tonight, Matt Canada, you are officially on the clock.